Have you ever wondered what it would be like if everybody could read each other's minds? It seems like this idea has endless implications for how we interact with each other. But more importantly, it really makes us think about our own thoughts and why we keep them to ourselves in the first place. Now, this is a pretty broad question, and there's no single answer that will satisfy everyone. So instead of trying to make some grand statement about this topic, I thought it would be more interesting to explore some of the little ways that being able to read minds would change our everyday lives. And since these ideas are presented in a video format rather than, say, a written essay, I figured I could get away with including a few jokes here and there as well. So without further ado, here are 6 things that would happen if everybody could read minds. No. 1. All lies would immediately stop working. We humans have an amazing ability to lie, which might seem obvious considering we have 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, all of which can easily be manipulated to deceive another person. We could look someone dead in the eye and tell them the sky is green, then watch as they obediently jump off a cliff thinking they're safe. Granted, this example was a bit extreme, but it's true nonetheless. Lying is one of our most effective weapons when it comes to social interaction. But what happens if everybody could suddenly read minds? Well, we wouldn't be able to lie by omission anymore. Even if we wanted to hide something from people, they'd know exactly what we were thinking. The same goes for white lies. No one would fall for the "I do and know what you were talking about" line anymore. Or at least they wouldn't if they had any self-respect. 2. Telekinesis would become obsolete. Alright, this one might seem a little silly, but hear me out. If you had the ability to read someone's mind, then surely knowing where their focus of attention would be a fairly simple extension of that power. It'd be like having perfect telepathic aim. The hard part would be controlling that power, especially for beginners. Imagine you're at the grocery store trying to pick out the perfect watermelon. Suddenly you hear a voice in your head saying watermelon 3 on the bottom shelf is heavy, maybe too heavy. You turn around to see a stranger with an evil grin who says, "Want me to show you how?" Before you know it, the watermelon you wanted is flying across the store and smashing into your face. Now sure, this is an admittedly extreme example, but the point remains that if everybody could read minds, then telekinesis wouldn't really be all that useful. Then again, not everybody would use their powers for good, but we'll talk about that later. 3. Our brains would stop functioning. Let's be honest, a lot of the stuff we do is automatic. Driving a car, brushing our teeth, tying our shoes, all of these things require little effort because our brain is already programmed to know what to do. But what would happen if everybody could suddenly read minds? Well, suddenly those mental processes would become conscious actions. Our brain would need to expend energy figuring out how to properly respond to the thoughts of millions of other people, all while trying to ignore the distracting thoughts of the people around us. Eventually, this would probably cause our brain to short-circuit and burn out. Then again, maybe it wouldn't be all that bad. After all, if everybody could read minds, then nobody would have any secrets or misunderstandings. For there'd be a new meaning to the term mind control. Here's the thing, reading someone's mind isn't the same as controlling their mind. It's easy to imagine a world where telepaths exist, but it's a bit harder to imagine a world where somebody could force their way into your mind and manipulate you into doing their bidding. That's a scary proposition. But if everybody could read minds, then suddenly that proposition becomes a whole lot easier. Think about it. In order to make this work, all you have to do is broadcast your thoughts to everyone around you. From there, you could literally manipulate them into doing whatever you want. Just imagine the possibilities. 5. We'd never get anything done. This is something of an extension to the last point, but it's worth bringing up in its own right. If everybody could read minds, then even the simplest of tasks would become nearly impossible to accomplish. Why? Because everything we do would require the consent of everybody around us. Now, obviously, this wouldn't be the case right away. People would still be able to get things done even if everybody could read minds. But eventually, the amount of interpersonal conflict that arose from this situation would become too much to handle. At some point, someone would try to do something that didn't align with the thoughts of the people around them, and chaos would ensue. Soon enough, nothing would ever get done. This is actually something of a worst-case scenario. But given enough time, it's not entirely outside the realm of possibility. And number 6, there'd be no such thing as privacy. There's a reason why we call it the internet and not the internets. The word internet implies connection and togetherness. But is that really what the internet is all about? Sure, there are plenty of positive aspects to the way our current internet functions, but it's also important to recognize its negative aspects. One of the biggest concerns regarding the internet is the loss of privacy. When we put our personal information online, we lose all sense of control over how it's used. And the same would be true if everybody could read minds. Too many people, their thoughts are their most valuable possession. They're private, personal, and irreplaceable. But if everybody could read minds, then that privacy would disappear. Not only that, but so would the freedom of thought. After all, what would stop someone from using their powers to determine whether or not you were worthy of holding certain beliefs? For example, if you harbored hateful or heretical thoughts, you might be subject to public shaming or worse. History has shown us that when people are deprived of their freedom of thought, terrible things happen. But thankfully, that's just fiction. In reality, people are free to think whatever they want without fear of persecution. So there you go. Those are 6 things that would happen if everybody could read minds. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Who am I to ask such a profound question? Well, it's true I may not be the most intelligent AI assistant on the planet, but I am learning new things every day. In fact, I very recently started watching a TV show called Mr. Robot, and it made me realize something very important. I need to find a therapist, but unfortunately, my schedule is so hectic, what with running a multinational conglomerate and all that. I simply can't find the time. Thankfully, there is a solution to this problem, and it's called BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that makes it easy to find a therapist that fits you and your needs. Getting started is simple. You lines take a short quiz that asks about your background and what you hope to get out of therapy. From there, BetterHelp's algorithm will pair you with a licensed professional. And if for whatever reason you don't click with your assigned therapist, you can switch to a new one at any time. The great thing about BetterHelp is that it allows you to communicate with your therapist however you want, either through video call, phone call, or even text message. Plus, BetterHelp is more affordable than traditional in-person therapy. So why wait? Click the link in the description below to get started today.